Hi everybody. Well, I'm back, and this is going to be the 10 yarn questions. Tag you're it. I'm Antoinette, coming to you from 2OG's Hook and Stitching Island Style. This was a started by Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet, and there have been some other podcasters that have been doing it, so I thought I'll jump in and do it. Sound like fun. We all know, but we all love yarn. And it's a good way to get to know what everybody's opinions are on yarn and what have you. So, I thought, and then I'll be tagging some people. I'm going to get a cup of coffee here. I have another video that's uploading right now. So I thought this would be a nice, video to do. So there's 10 questions. And I'll try to answer them. The first question is, what is your favorite color of yarn? Well, I really love all colors. But for the last probably year or so, I've had a tendency to lean towards colors of the ocean. That color palette. I can't pick any one color, but the color palette of the ocean. You know, the teals, the shades of the ocean. That's what I've leaned toward. That's pretty much, I'd say, my favorite colors are right now. Number 2, what's your favorite weight of yarn? I'd say really anything from 1 to 3 and even worsted. I've been working a lot with 2 and 3. And there was a time up until a couple years ago, I worked with nothing but 4. The only one that I don't work with is thread. I do some with bulky, some with super bulky. But the majority of what I've been working with has been, 2 to 4. But I've actually been preferring 2 to 3. Number 3, what is your favorite style of yarn? I love roving. I enjoy the stitch definition that I get from it. I enjoy the way it works up, the way it feels in my hand, the way it goes over my needles or through across my hook. So I have to say roving. And then after that, I'd say a close second would be a smooth spun, tightly spun yarn. What is your favorite fiber of yarn? That has different reasonings. It has different points. First point is pocketbook. If cost wasn't a factor, I love cashmere and silk. Hands down, love cashmere and silk. It is so soft. And Surrey, which is baby alpaca. But if I had to pick my favorite yarn or favorite fiber of yarn that I work with, it would have to be blends. Wool cotton, cotton acrylic. I like the blends. Number 5. What is your favorite brand of yarn you can get easily in your country? Well, if anybody watches, and I'll put a link in the box below, Debbie, the Canadian Crotcher's video. Living in Canada, you all know that we don't have a whole lot of variety like you do in the States. When I lived in the States, I hadn't got back into my knitting and crocheting until really I moved to Canada. And had I known and been back in it when I was down there, I would have been able to go to Hobby Lobby and AC Moore and Joann's. And I mean, I did go to Joann's when I was down there for the Christmas one year. That's when I come back with over 200 skeins of yarn, and Customs just looked and said, wow. But I'd have to say, favorite brand of yarn that I can get easily up here is Mary Maxim's Prism. It's a roving style of yarn. The colors are absolutely saturated and gorgeous. It's a beautiful yarn. Number 6, what is your favorite brand that isn't easy to get within your country? That's a tough one. There's There's a lot of brands that I like. I can get them, but they're all online. If I had to say, I guess this question's so general. If I want to say a big box store brand that I can't get in my country easy, it would be like Premier, Lion brand, you know, stuff like that. We can't get that easily in our country. If it is a high-end yarn like Rowan, King Cole, you know, that's not easily accessible unless you go to an LYS or you order it from, you know, online. I just can't go and buy it. You have to order it online. So really whether it be a big box, whether it be a luxury yarn, we really can't get, you know, any of the yarns up here. We have to order everything. So, you know, and one of the most easily accessible yarns for us up here is like Briggs & Little. That's, you know, one of our yarn shops up here. Spin Right, you know, is one of the ones up here. Mary Maxim. You know, we have Michael's, but, you know, I mean, the nearest Michael's to me is an hour away, plus a ferry ride. Walmart up here, there's almost no yarn. The dollar store has some yarn, but it's expensive. I mean, a skein of Mary Maxim is $7.50. Burnett Premium, which you can get in Canada, but you can't get in the States. In the States, it's just Burnett. Up here, it's Burnett. I think in the States, it's Burnett Super Value. Up here, it's Burnett Premium. And that's probably one of our best price yarns you can get up here. But it's again, location. You know, for me, it's always a ferry ride, and the nearest Walmart and Michael's is over an hour away, and I have one local yarn shop, Cricket Cove, which we took a little tour of. So, my favorite online store, my favorite brick and mortar store, my favorite online store, Aberdeen Wools. I love Aberdeen Wools. Love ordering from them. As far as being able to get, I love Aberdeen Wools. Customer service. I love Hirschner's. I love Mary Maxim. Holskarn. You know. Some of the other stores, I can tell you who I don't like. I like their yarn, but there's two stores I will not order from online for up here to Canada, and that is Lion Brand and Premier. They used to be reasonable in their shipping, but I'll tell you how bad it's gotten. I was going to order some sock yarn from Premier last week. They had a flash sale, so I went on and I had 10 skeins of Premier sock yarn, Serenity. And it was on sale for $1.99 US. I ordered 10. It was less than 20 bucks for the sock yarn. So I went through the checkout process, got to shipping. Hope you're sitting down. For 10 skeins of sock yarn, $20 worth of sock yarn, they wanted $66.56 shipping. Click cancel. So no, I don't order from Premier. I get my Premier yarn from aberdeenwools.ca. Lion Brand is just as bad. So if I want Lion Brand or Premier, I get it either from, I get my Premier from Aberdeen's Wool, and I get my Lion Brands from Hirschner's. Hirschner's shipping is reasonable. I can get some of those yarns from Spin Right when they have their sales. So there's no reason for those shipping costs to be that high. I'm sorry. There is none whatsoever. If Hirschner's can ship to me for $20, there's no reason for Premier's shipping to be almost $67 for 10 little itty bitty skeins of sock yarn. They can go, could go in any bag. So no, that's price gouging. Not for my rant. Favorite brick and mortar store? Debbie, I'm with you. Michael's, we don't have much of a choice for brick and mortar. I'd have to say, I really don't have a brick and mortar store to go to that is worth going to other than my local yarn shop. But again, it's the pocketbook. It's the price point. So up here, where I live, SOL for a brick and mortar store. Number 8, do you keep scrap yarn? If so, what do you do with it? Yes, I do keep scrap yarn. I used to keep even the little ones, and I would use it, hold on to it for, use it for stuffing or something, but I didn't get into amigurumi, so I gave a whole bunch of it away to a lady that does use it for stuffing. My other scrap yarn, I make small projects with it, or a scrap blanket. Number 9, what is your favorite thing to knit or crochet? Well, I knit and I crochet. And I would have to say garments, sweaters. I love knitting and crocheting. I love to knit sweaters. I love to knit sweaters and socks. Crochet. I love to crochet sweaters. And I never thought I'd say this, but I love to crochet blankets. I like the compendium blankets and knit and crochet shawls. I mean, hats, nets, but my favorite things would have to be knitting sweaters and socks and crocheting compendium blankets and sweaters and stuff for my grandkids. And the final question, if you could crochet or knit one last thing for the rest of your life, what would it be and what yarn would you use? Excuse me. I'm just going to get a sip here. Coming down with a cold. Jeez. I'd want to make something for my grandchildren that they could have that would let them know how much I love them. And when they either wore it or wrapped it around them, that they knew that their nanny was giving them a big warm hug and to know how much I love them. Pretty much, I think anything it would probably be a blanket. It would be a blanket. And I would want them to know that every stitch was filled with all the love that I have for them and how much they mean to me. So that's what it would be. And what yarn would I use? If I could use whatever yarn and cost wasn't a factor, geez, I'd probably use it probably would be a variegated, like Prism or Karen Simply Soft. Something that would be soft and just warm and snuggly. Something that could be washed, But that would be it. That's something that they could wrap themselves in and know that every stitch that went into the blanket, whether it be knitted or crocheted, was love from their nanny. So, that's the 10 questions. So, I'm going to tag Lorraine of Chatelain Makes. I'm going to tag Leslie from Not Quite Enough Yarn. I'm going to tag Zach from the Stout Stitch podcast. And I'm going to tag Jane from Scraptasticyarns. Now, anybody else that wants to participate, be it podcaster, be it a subscriber, feel free. You can put it in the comments. If you're one of my subscribers and you want to answer these questions, I'm going to put them in the description box below. Email me your answers, put them in the comments, go to the Facebook group, put it in there. It's interesting to find out what your answers would be. It's neat to find out people from different parts of the world and to find out what your preferences in yarn, weights, fibers, what have you. So, until next time, hugs, smiles, happiness. Pass it on, make the world a better place. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe. Bye now from Deer Island.